welcome to the Peaceful Wood Turner. This is a piece of wood that I got when we were out camping. It was really woodpecker chewed up and really dead and everything else. I was making a coffee cup out of one part of it, and this is the scrap off of that. So I decided that this would make a nice part of a Christmas ornament. So what I'm going to do now is just start shaping this down. I've got it mounted in here really tightly, and I'm going to be going about 1200 RPM. I'm going to start with just my spindle gouge. Keep getting catches right in here for some reason, so I'm just going to try to smooth that out a little bit. I'm going to give you a different perspective. It's a little bit better angle so you can see what's going on. I've got a little bit of a crack right here. It doesn't appear to go very deep, but I'm surprised how far it goes along this way, so I'm going to have to work all of this down, make sure that I don't have anything pop out or split on me all of a sudden. So I'm going to keep shaping carefully. I'm going to go a bit faster though. I'm going to go around 1400 RPM. Alright, that's nice and smooth. I'm going to move up to a 320 grit now and keep going. Alright, that's nice. I like it. What I want to do now is put a nice stain on it, bring out this grain, and I'm going to use two different stains, one for this and then one for the top and the bottom parts, the finials. That way I'll have a nice contrast. So I think for this I want to have something kind of reddish, so I'm going to go with this finish that calls itself Gunstock. It's got a nice red to it. I was thinking about using a colored stain, but I'm worried about losing the grain. I haven't experimented with colored stain very much. I certainly don't want to have all this figure and stuff go away. I mean, there's just so many neat little things going on in here. I don't want to lose those. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my stain on this. I'll part it off and set it aside, and then I'll be able to work on my other pieces. So I've got my stain all set. Alright, that's pretty good. Just going to buff it off with a clean part. Alright, just made the color a little bit darker, even things a little bit, but not a whole lot. I'm liking this. I'm gonna cut these off and then make my finials. So this is a piece of scrap. I think it's pine, really light, pretty soft. I'm just gonna turn it to round, and then I'm gonna start making my shapes and measuring things out so they can be just the right size to go on the ends of my ornament. I've got this in the 4-jaw chuck so that it can stay really straight while I'm working on it. Sometimes doing the spindle stuff, and when I go to cut off, obviously I'm going to lose control and everything else. And since I'm doing 2 pieces out of this, I want to keep things as stable as I can. I'm going to go about 1200 RPM. Alright, that'll be nice for the bottom. I'm just going to part this off and then make a small piece for the top. Nothing too fancy. Alright, this is going to become the top. I'm just going to kind of make a rounded off part up here and a little bit of decorative pieces just to make it work. What I really want to do is make sure I have a good spot where I can put a ribbon. So just kind of finishing it off. Let me show you how pieces look together so far. So you can see that this is already going pretty well. It just needs a little something up here to make it finish and give me a spot to tie a ribbon. and a pretty little Christmas tree to go on top. I'm just going to gently sand that. Luckily it doesn't need much because I can't do much with it. It's really barely on there. And there we go. I'm just going to put a little screw eye in the top once I get it all together. See if I can get it focused. There we are. Put a little screw eye in the top once we get it all together, and the ribbon can go right in there. So it's a little small, but that's okay. I think that ought to work pretty well. I wonder if it'll look better this way. I don't know. I like it better the other way. I think it looks a lot like an onion like this. For some reason it feels less onion-like to me this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a coat of stain up here, sand this a little bit, same with the bottom here. I already did a little bit of stain there. And I'm going to put a dark stain on these so that they pop a little bit. There we go. Looks pretty nice. It's got a really nice figure in it, lots of different things going on in the grain. I really like how the charcoal stain worked out on this. I've got multiple coats of just a spray-on polyurethane on here, so it came out looking pretty good. Nice shine to it. It's going to look nice on somebody's tree or hanging up on some other stand. Just need to put a little red ribbon through it so that it can hang well, and it'll be all done. Thank you for joining me on the Peaceful Woodturner.